there's like really only two types of women, like, sadly, I heard, um Dr. Orion Taraban, he's a YouTuber, I think that's what his channel's called. He basically said there's only two types of women. He said there's prostitutes and there's wives, right? I'm pretty sure that's what he said, and it really makes sense. It's like if we start mixing these two together, you know, like there are women that men go to essentially to just freaking have an orgasm or whatever, just to have sex, and then there's women that men go to marry, right? But the problem with modern society is that they're now mixed. These prostitutes and wives have now conjoined to where it's essentially the same thing, where, yeah, there are good women left, but it's very hard. And you know even if you win, now it's like, you're still not that happy about it. So anyways, what I really want to get to with the solution to this, is, for one, right, like I said in the beginning, men want to feel feared. Men want to, men want to feel like they're capable, right? So what I'm thinking, to solve this problem, like when this girl did, oh, you go to church, that's so cute. Like, for me to solve that problem, I need to cultivate, a righteous type of violence in myself, right? Like, I want to start boxing, maybe. I want to, I'm learning, I'm reading 48 Laws of Power, so I'm learning about manipulation. That's a really good book, like 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, I think. I'm learning how people manipulate so I can learn how to deal with it. I'm also reading a book called Verbal Judo. This is how to de-escalate arguments and stuff like that in a safe way. It's also masculine. Like, I'm trying to cultivate, ways of dealing with violence, right? And being violent in a righteous way, right? And this is how you cultivate a type of manhood that doesn't involve sex or, sinning, or, I don't have to smoke a blunt to feel like a man, I don't have to be like, there's all this weird unconscious programming. I remember I met this, couple in Los Angeles, or when I was on vacation there, and one guy who was like, you look like you can drink a lot or whatever, like you have a high tolerance. And I like, I wanted to be like, yes, I am a man, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, nah, I don't. Like, it's like, why do I have to drink a lot to feel like a man? Like, why do you gotta do bad things? Like, aren't those mindsets from very ghetto places, right? Like, this is what happens when fathers are not in society, right? Doing crime and sinning becomes your rite of passage into being an adult, which is just like, it's wrong, right? So what I think is that we need to develop a righteous type of violence, right? So let's, maybe join a martial art, do something that makes you feel, that is courageous. And the other thing about it is, when it comes to your, let's say, presentation, completely step outside of the whole sexual thing. Stop trying to be the cool boy. Develop your strength in another type of way. Like, I went out with my friend the other day and I wore a suit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm stepping outside of that type of system of like trying to be the cool boy with the streetwear, like, because like I'm saying, all that stuff is just lust, right? Like, we gotta do it to where it's like we're actually completely outside of their system, right? Like, outside of, women thirst trapping us. Like, we gotta actually, yeah, like, we're not even in their gravitational pull anymore. Like, we gotta create our own system, right? Like, I wanted to make a separate video for this, but one thing I want to mention is, like, with women lust trapping and thirst trapping and stuff like that, like, there's actually, like, I found a way to actually dismantle all that leverage that they have, and just straight pull, like, it's just like a Uno reverse on them. Like, if feel like a like a like, essentially you're just being lust trapped and thirst trapped by women all over the place, and you're just a little fanboy of them, because that's what they're doing to us. What you want to actually do is you want to take that leverage that you think they have and actually imagine it as self-inflicted damage that they're doing to themselves, right? So if you really think about it, right, if we're gonna really step outside of this system of lust and pursue monogamy with a really good woman, right, who's family oriented, every time a woman thirst traps, shows skin, acts arrogant, she's essentially damaging her future family. She's gonna lead to a divorce, her own family to a divorce, right? She's gonna, all her lack of character, that's all gonna lead to her children not growing up properly. They're probably not gonna be oriented, like, sexually, like, properly. They're probably not gonna behave well. They're probably not gonna have good manners or respect for people in society. So every time a woman is lust trapping, by posting bikini pics or whatever, getting tattoos, like, freaking out with guys, don't be jealous of her opportunity. Think of her as actually damaging herself, right? Like, she's actually ruining her future life, right? But you're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's ruining her future family because of this, promiscuous behavior. And here's the honest truth, is that if you start to build up discernment, so when you go out in public, right, I know this video is getting long, but when you go out in public, look at women's faces, right? You can, if you actually get discernment, or even if you're online, look at their face every time you meet different types of women, and you'll start to actually, I can't articulate it, but you can actually see street damage on them. Like, I'm gonna just call it street damage, like any sort of lifestyle that's related to culture of the streets, like, where they were not spending lots of time with their parents, they're spending lots of time out with guys, out smoking, out the parties, out whatever. You can literally see it on them, on their facial expression. Like, you can see it in their makeup style, in the way that they walk, dress. Like, if you pay attention to the details, you can actually see it, and that becomes your leverage. That becomes your discernment. Like, if you see these little tattoos on women's arms and stuff like that, that's street damage, bro. And, like, it's like, that is where you get leverage, because that's not the type of woman that you want to marry, that you want to have as your wife, right? So this is actually how you exit the game of lust. When we're being lust trapped, obviously, our brain is horny or whatever. As your man, you're always going to think with your dick, right? But when you really think consciously, they can't take that away. If you see the damage on them, the self-inflicted damage that they've done to themselves through being a lustful, immodest woman, obviously, hopefully they get saved by God or whatever. But, if you can have the discernment to see that damage that they're doing to themselves through ruining their future family life because of immodesty and lack of wisdom and lack of character building, suddenly you've now exited the game of lust, right? Where you or lusting before, and we still obviously all will, but now you have a conscious understanding that they're actually losing, right? Women who act immodest are actually losing, and that's how it should be, because you're gonna swerve them. You're gonna keep building yourself up, right? And like I'm saying, you don't even want to be in that game. You want it to be like you don't even associate with that. Like, let's say that you're like 20 years old, right? Let's say you see like two like 22-year-old promiscuous looking women at the bus stop, and you want to ask for directions. Just be like, hold on, man, I stutter sometimes. Just be like, excuse me, young ladies. Like, you're not even gonna talk to them like you're like they're even in your like you even associate with them. You're just gonna say, excuse me, young ladies, like you're an old man, and they're like, you're not even associating with them, you know. And I don't mean it to like shame them, but like, you know what I'm saying, like, you got to get outside of their orbit to where it's like you're building up your way, right? Because people can only win their game if there's people playing by their rules, right? So if you don't play by their rules, well, guess what? They're a loser in your game. Your game is, I'm looking for a wife. I'm looking for someone who can raise my kids, right? If they don't even know the rules to your game, because you're so far like out removed from their lustful and lack of wisdom, like they don't even know the rules to your game. So obviously sometimes you're not even going to have women trying to win your game. Your game is, I'm looking for a wife, and you might feel like a loser because, like I'm saying, a lot of women don't even understand your game, that you're looking for wife material. So you're not going to have a lot of contestants trying to play it because they don't understand it. But this is sounding like a freaking acid, freaking whatever, I don't know. But so you're going to feel alone, but that's fine because you're building up your own game. When you look at yourself in the mirror, like I did with my suit the other day, wearing my suit and tie, yeah, there's not a lot of women playing my game. They're not trying to make themselves a wife to me because they don't know my game. Because we're in modern times, we're in 2026. They don't know to make themselves a wife, look like a wife, and dress modestly for me, because it's not familiar to them. So I'm not gonna have people chasing me like girls are chased on dating apps. But at the end of the day, like I'm saying, if I build my game up, I build my tower up, eventually I'm gonna look at my tower and be like, my tower is dope. I've been building it for years, you know. And that's to build a way of being useful and keep building yourself up, you know, in ways that are important to you, right? And be nice to everybody. But, you know, I don't know, I hope this is making sense, right? Because the whole point of the video was to go back to how that girl treated me, like a little kid, and to feel like, okay, well, I felt like a little kid in that moment, and that made me feel aggressive, right? And I wanted to do something with that aggression so that I could feel like a man. And I guess this is what it is, you know, to put that aggression towards my own life and towards not being naive. You know, I'm learning about manipulation through these books. I'm you know, starting to maybe practice my fighting technique. You know, I'm learning everything I can. I'm learning how to try to house remodel. I'm trying to be useful and put my body in aggression to work in my own way, so that I'm outside of the, oh, I am man, I chase woman who is just a thirst trap, blah blah blah, blah, you know. All right, I hope this makes sense. All right, have a good day, y'all. So you can be a good man and not feel like a child. That's my point. All right, love you.